welcome to the Shelly Studio. Today I'm going to do something with these papers. If you didn't see my last video, I used the gel plate and printed using Distress ink and Distress Oxide ink pads and water. And I felt like they were a bit boring. So I decided that I would hopefully spruce them up with a little bit of metallic. This is Color Flash in black. I don't want to completely cover it, so I pushed a little bit of that away. I was hoping for the water thing, but it just was too much black. And even doing that, it's quite a bit of darkness. But you can still see the color behind it, right? So I'm gonna just use the paint and water that's left on the plate and do another one. And like I said, I felt like they were boring. I mean, they were interesting, but they were really soft and not very strong color-wise. And so I just thought I'd add something. And as I was doing this, this is when I decided they would work as backgrounds for my October project idea. I'm hoping to do like a page a day for October. Like, you know how they have Inktober, except for I'm not going to do Inktober. I think there's another one that's called Drawloween. Anyways, I'm going to find one set of prompts and use those as my inspiration to create a page a day. I'm hoping to have a cat on every page. I don't have a cat stamp. I'm just thinking I'll freehand it. But yeah, that's the plan for October. Hopefully I'll get it done. It won't be a video every single day. It'll probably just be on my regular schedule. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I put up videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays, so twice a week. So that's the plan for the October daily thing. If I end up with too much footage, I'll do more, trying to get it uploaded before the end of the month. But that's my goal for now. I added water. I don't know if I showed that. I wasn't paying attention. To some quinacridone nickel azo gold. It's just a mostly empty bottle, and I thought that would be a good way to use it up. And I decided it was being too orange. I mean, yeah, orange for Halloween, but let's get this dark and spooky. Scoopy? Apparently, I cannot speak. We're going for spooky. Except for, I'm going to put a cat on every page. They're not going to be all spooky cats. There wasn't enough there, so I got to add more. But I do have 30 pages of this. I don't show you every single one of them because they are quite repetitive. I mostly use these colors. I might have thrown a little gold in there. I don't remember. But yeah, just enhancing what's already there, right? Okay, so I've got this nice grungy plate, so I decided I would use some teal and just pull a cleanup print to clean that off with. And I am just using some deli paper. It was sitting here. It's been, used for other things. And I do let it dry. You can't tell, but I do let it dry. Maybe you can tell. So here are all my, I did use quinacridone magenta on that one that's really red. I wasn't sure I liked that too much, so here they all are. I like that one, the one with the teal in the background. Do they look like they're Halloweenish? Yeah, like I said, there are 30 of those. 30, 31? I can't remember. All right, so that cleaned up my plate for the most part. It's kind of cool looking, right? I like that one. I've got a lot of wetness in here I got to clean up. All right. So I took some art paper. It's Bristol vellum. I can't remember the weight, but it's pretty good weight. And decided this was going to be the size of my book. I think it's 4.5 by, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 by 4.5 by probably 6.5. And I decided, I can't remember why I decided. I think some of my papers weren't quite wide enough to cover the whole thing. So I decided that that 1/2 inch would be where it's bound. And so I take out the color flash in black, or color shift. I think it's called color flash. And I'm just going to paint the edge on both sides. Just making sure it's the same edge on both sides before I glue the papers to the Bristol paper. Okay, I went and got the paint so that I could give it to you correctly. It's Folk Art Color Shift paint, and the name of the color is Black Flash. That's where I was getting the flash from. But that's the paint. So I'm trimming one side of my painty papers so that I have a nice straight edge that includes the nice painty portion, and that'll go right up against the Black Flash painted strip. You'll see. And I don't show you me gluing all these, but I do the front and back of this one so you can see how I do it. So I'm generous with the glue stick and burnish it down. I did this one first because it's my favorite color. And I always somehow don't get enough on the corners. So I'm gonna add some extra there. Glue that down. Now normally I would wait, let that dry. And for the rest of them I did. I put them under weight and let them dry so they stayed flat before cutting and gluing the other side. But I wanted to show you the whole process for one page, so this is what I did. So just get that nice and trimmed, and now we're gonna glue the other side. So I take another piece of the painty paper, trim the edge to where I want it to start. It's basically taking off the unfinished rough edge there. Sorry about my arm. I think I probably turned the fan on. There's a fan hanging from my camera apparatus to keep me cool. It gets quite hot in my room, so I'll just glue that down. And these are a variety of papers. I have plain copy paper, deli paper, rice paper, and wet strength tissue paper. When I was doing the distress ink and distress oxides on the gel plate, I wanted to see how each of the different papers would pick it up. So that's why it has a variety of papers. Okay, so that's how you do that. And yeah, I put them all under weight, let them get nice and flat. They're pretty flat. And I decided they can't be white on the edges. So I have a marker, and I'm just going to go along with the marker. I thought this way would be the best for me to not accidentally, go down on the page, because I tend to do that for some reason. But it wasn't perfect, so I do find the ones that have white still prominent and just go along on each one of those until they're black enough for me. So you can see some of them are quite light. And I keep, as I go through and do this process, I keep seeing ones that I didn't notice before. You have to look at it at the right angle to see that white. All right, so I have them all. Now I've used a pokey tool and poked a hole, and I made sure they were all matching. I didn't want them to not line up. And I'm doing a slip knot binding. The one I saw demonstrated had a little bit bigger holes where you could just push the thread through. But I don't have a small hole punch. I have a normal size, and that would have been too big. So I just poked a hole, and I'm using the little blue thing that I'm using to thread the wax thread through. Is actually, you find it in the toothpaste section. It's to help people that can't thread dental floss through their teeth. And it makes a great threader. I don't know who I saw do that years and years ago, but I bought a little packet of them, and I've used one out of it. This one. Because it hasn't broken yet. So yeah, it works great to thread things. And it's like a hard plastic, so it's a little bit stiff. It goes through holes if there's enough space there. And I do show like the beginning. So this is the beginning. You have the thread folded in half, and it kind of has like a cross-stitchy look, or not a cross-stitch, a crocheted look. So you just thread the other end through the loop portion, trying to make sure your threads are even. And then I did do this the wrong way, so I'm going to flip that one over to put the next one on. So the loop should be on the other side. And it'll switch to it here in a second. Okay, if you see them down there, you can see the way the threads go. And I'll link, like you can see on my phone there, I was watching the slip knot binding instructions again to make sure I was doing it the right way. But I'll try to find that video, link it down below, so that if you want to try this type of binding and you haven't seen it before, there's no words on that one, but she's got that camera right down close and you can really see what she's doing. So it's a good one, I think. It's where I learned how to do it. Yeah, so just take it, loop it through, pull it through the hole. And it does take a little effort when you just have a hole poked through. And then you're going to put it in between the two threads. And once you get them through all three on your page, or all, however many you decide to do, then I go through and tighten them all. And I'm using waxed thread. I think that was recommended because it's less likely to slip out of place and get loose in weird places. So you just do it like that, snug them all up. And yeah, I tried to be really careful to make sure all my holes were right aligned so my book wouldn't look staggered. It still has a little bit of a staggered look, but I think that's more because my cards are not exactly the same size. They're close, but not exact. So I figured I would show you the very last page so you know how to finish off the stab binding technique. And I didn't, one of them I watched explained how to measure for this, but I didn't understand it. I just made sure I had plenty. Then I trimmed the threads evenly, and I'll probably put some sort of charms on them or something, make them interesting. So now you do this one same as all the others. Make sure everything's snug and tight. Okay, and then you cinch them all down. Like I said, the wax helps everything resist so it doesn't slip out. So then you're going to take it in between the two pages and wrap it around. And then the other one's going to go the opposite direction. In there and around. This one ends up being a little loose, and I do go back and fix it later. But make sure you cinch it up real good before you tie that knot. I did pick it undone and retie it, but yeah. It's good just to make sure it stays really tight while you're doing it. Because when you're opening this page up and shutting it and stuff, it can work its way loose. And this is my first slip knot binding, so I was inexperienced. I just go through, tighten everything back up. I mean, you want things to be snug. You don't want to like pull a hole through your paper because it is just paper. See that one's loose. We'll fix that. I fix it later. So up and around, and back around and down. Now, I don't know. I really like my pages now. I hope I can do them justice. All right, so there it is. It's all bound and ready to go for my first day of October. And we'll just flip through the pages so you can see what they all look like now. Do you like them? Do they look better than they did when they were just the inks? Let me know what you think. I want to thank you all for watching. If you liked this video, hit the button. Leave me a comment. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have an awesome day.